It begins with a single camera flash, bright, blinding, and unforgettable. The kind that doesn't just capture a moment, but changes the entire conversation around it. In the world of Chinese entertainment, where silence is strategy and rumors travel faster than truth, one name suddenly finds himself standing at the center of a storm he never asked for. Dylan Wang. Once the quiet rising star who melted hearts as Dao Mingxi in Meteor Garden, now caught in a triangle of speculation involving not one, not two, but three of the most talked about actresses in the industry, Shen Yue, Esther Yu, and the unexpected twist that no one saw coming, Bai Lu. Fans thought they knew how this story would go. They thought it ended years ago, when the on-screen chemistry between Dylan and Shen Yue became a phenomenon, so powerful that even today, people still replay their scenes as if time never moved forward. It wasn't just acting, they said. It felt real. Too real. And in a business where feelings are meant to stay behind the camera, the public was convinced that something slipped through the cracks. Every glance, every awkward laugh, every moment where Dylan seemed softer, more vulnerable around Shen Yue than he ever appeared with anyone else. But just when the nostalgia finally began to fade, when fans accepted that the fairy tale stayed on screen, a new spark took shape, one wrapped in glitter, drama, and a very different kind of chemistry. Enter Esther Yu, bright, bubbly, and impossible to ignore. When she and Dylan starred in love between fairy and devil, the shift was immediate. Their dynamic wasn't soft and subtle like Shen Yu's. It was playful, explosive, electric. Suddenly, a new fandom war was born. Team Shen Yue versus Team Esther. Past versus present. Comfort versus fire. And here's where things get interesting, because Dylan himself never played into it. No public comments. No flirty interactions off camera. Just professionalism. Silence. The kind that answers nothing, but fuels everything. And so fans did what fans always do. They filled the silence with theories. Some reposted behind-the-scenes clips showing Dylan looking almost shy around Shen Yue, while others highlighted the way Esther made him laugh like he wasn't acting at all. The internet kept score, while Dylan stayed completely still. Until recently, when the story took a direction nobody was prepared for. Because while the fandom was busy comparing the past and the present, the future quietly walked in wearing red lipstick and a reputation for shaking up every project she touches. Bai Lu. Known for her striking presence and her ability to turn every co-star pairing into wildfire, suddenly, she wasn't just another name in the industry. She became the twist. Rumors began circulating, whispers about a potential collaboration, secret casting decisions, and producers who were reportedly eager to bring Dylan and Bai Lu together on screen. And just like that, everything changed. Before we get lost in the chaos, let's rewind to where it really started. The Dylan and Shen Yue era. When Meteor Garden aired in 2018, the public was witnessing a star being born in real time. Dylan wasn't an established actor yet. He was new, raw, and still figuring out who he was. Shen Yue, already beloved from a love so beautiful, became the calm to his storm. And that dynamic carried off screen in the most unexpected ways. Fans noticed how Dylan would glance at her for reassurance during interviews, how she would tease him in a way no one else dared to, and how neither of them seemed to realize the cameras were still rolling. People weren't just watching a drama, they were watching a bond forming in real life. But here's the truth the industry rarely admits. Timing is everything, and in their case, the timing was painfully wrong. Both were new. Both were rising. And nothing kills a career faster than a romance rumor too early in the game. So the moment the whispers started getting too loud, the distance began. Slowly. Quietly. One day they were everywhere together, and then suddenly nowhere at all.
No reunions.
No second project.
No closure.
That silence wasn't an accident, it was survival. Fast forward to 2022. Dylan returns to the screen transformed. Not the boyish heartthrob from Meteor Garden, but a darker, more mature figure in love between fairy and devil. And this time, the energy is completely different. Esther Yu enters the picture with her unique sparkle, and immediately, the chemistry ignites. Not slowly like a candle, but instantly like fireworks. Even people who had never watched a Chinese drama were suddenly asking, who are these two? Their dynamic was the kind that doesn't just create fans, it creates obsession. Clips went viral. Edits took over TikTok. Fan pages multiplied overnight. And somewhere in the middle of all that excitement, the comparisons began, because the internet never lets the past rest. People started analyzing every tiny interaction. Was Dylan more relaxed with Esther? Was his body language more natural with Shen Yue? Which romance felt more real? And the more the conversation grew, the more intense the fandom divide became. But then something strange happened. Just when viewers expected Dylan and Esther to ride the momentum with more joint appearances, everything went silent again. No new projects together. No continued promotions.
No social media interactions.
The same pattern from before, but this time, with even more questions attached. Fans began to wonder if Dylan was intentionally avoiding being tied romantically to any co-star again, or if something behind the scenes was quietly shifting. That shift finally surfaced when Bai Lu's name entered the conversation. Unlike Shen Yue and Esther, Bai Lu brings a different energy. Older, edgier, more unpredictable. She isn't associated with innocence or fairy tale romances. She's known for stealing the spotlight and owning it, whether the industry is ready or not. So, when reports began circulating that casting directors were eyeing Dylan and Bai Lu for an upcoming drama, the reaction was instant shock. Some fans were thrilled, calling it a legendary visual combination, and claiming this could be Dylan's most mature role yet. But others were skeptical, worried that pairing him with someone as intense and commanding as Bai Lu might shift his image in a direction they weren't prepared for. And just when the discussion reached its peak, Bai Lu added fuel to the fire without saying a single direct word. During an interview, she casually mentioned being interested in working with actors who challenge her and who don't rely only on looks, but emotional depth. Fans instantly connected the dots, especially since Dylan has been noticeably more selective with his projects lately. Was she hinting at him? Was it coincidence? Or was this the quiet confirmation everyone was waiting for? But here's the twist that makes the story even more dramatic, because while fans were arguing about Bai Lu and Dylan, something unexpected resurfaced. Old behind-the-scenes clips of Dylan and Shen Yue suddenly started trending again on Chinese social platforms. Edits titled "The Chemistry That Never Faded" and "The Couple We Never Got Closure For" began pulling millions of views, almost as if the universe was refusing to let the past stay buried. At the same time, Esther's fans pushed back, posting clips proving that Dylan smiled more naturally with her than he ever did with Shen Yue. And just like that, the triangle became a battlefield: past love, present hype, and future possibility. What makes this moment so fascinating is that Dylan himself still hasn't said a single word. Not one interview comment. Not one clarification. And in an industry where silence is more powerful than confession, his quietness is starting to feel intentional. Some speculate it's a strategy, to stay neutral and avoid being tied to any romantic narrative. Others believe it's protection, that after the early Meteor Garden frenzy, he learned how dangerous fan-driven shipping can become. But there's also a third theory, the one that keeps fans awake at night, that Dylan's next project will answer everything, and this calm is simply the quiet before the biggest reveal of his career. Because if the rumors are true, and Dylan and Bai Lu actually end up sharing the screen, it won't just be another drama. It will redefine him. It will force fans to compare not just chemistry, but eras. The innocent nostalgia of Shen Yue, the fantasy romance fire of Esther Yu, and now, the mature, unpredictable dynamic with Bai Lu. 3 different energies. 3 different versions of Dylan. And only one will set the tone for his future. But here's the real question no one wants to ask out loud. What happens if the past suddenly collides with the present? What if Shen Yue and Dylan finally reunite on screen after all these years, just when the world has moved on? What if Esther Yu and Dylan cross paths again and rekindle the magic that took over the internet? And what if Bai Lu becomes the game changer, who shifts everything fans thought they knew? In a world where one casting announcement can start a war, we're standing right at the edge of something huge, something that could either unite the fandom or break it apart forever. So now the only thing left is to ask you, if Dylan Wang really ends up choosing his next chapter, who should it be? Shen Yue Esther Yu, or the shocking twist no one saw coming, Bai Lu? Drop your answer in the comments, hit like if you're already hooked, and don't forget to subscribe, because this story is just getting started.